You've come to the right place. If you're a course creator looking to build more impact, income, and freedom, LMScast is the #1 podcast for course creators just like you. I'm your guide, Chris Badgett. I'm the co-founder of the most powerful tool for building, selling, and protecting engaging online courses called LifterLMS. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of LMScast. My name's Chris Badgett and I'm joined by two very special guests. I've got Rohan and Shrajith from WisdmLabs. That's WISDM Labs.com. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited to get into this topic with you. WisdmLabs is an agency. They do work focusing on WooCommerce, e-learning, mobile apps. So they're as a WordPress LMS agency and an e-commerce agency. This is the world that I came out of with Lifter. It's what I did before Lifter. And I talk to people all the time who are looking for help. You know, maybe they chose a tool to build their website with. Maybe they haven't chosen a tool yet, but they realize that, you know, maybe I should find an agency to help me achieve my goals. Or maybe they have tried it. They went for like the cheapest possible solution somewhere and had a bad experience. And they're like, all right, I learned the hard way. I need to clean up this mess. So let's start the conversation. How does somebody choose an agency or a freelancer partner to work with? What should they be looking for?
Okay, so thanks for inviting us to the podcast, Chris. Okay, so that's a great question actually. It's very important because a lot of our clients actually are the people who have burned their hands, and and these are the best clients we've got because they stay with us for long and they've had the worst experience, and from there we take them to the best experience. But over the years, we've realized that there are some certain things, that if people actually do some sort of due diligence, then they would end up getting to work with the good guys and not have to go through a lot of trauma later on. Okay, so what we've seen is that when people come to us, generally they come via 2 or 3 different sources. First is, let's say, if it's the LifterLMS customers, okay, then they're likely to check your website, and it's the people that you recommend. Okay, now why you want to recommend them is because you know them personally. Okay, you are actually putting your own reputation on the line. So that means you have verified them, vetted them, and these are only the few companies that are good to work. You can work with them and you can trust them. Okay, so they have that level of trust already built in. Okay, you've been recommended, they come from there. The other sources are people actually search on Google. Okay, generally you would start your search with something of a problem that you have. Okay, and you will end up on some websites where they would offer the solution of the problem. Okay, if you come through a source like that and you land up on the site of a service provider, you already know that these guys are aware of what this kind of problem is, and they already have a solution because they have the experience of having worked on it, right? So in that case, they are generally convinced because of the knowledge that we are sharing. We are educating them at that point of time. They start building that trust, and then they start exploring because it's not the first time that they would come to the website. They might come for 2 or 3 different problems, and later on, then they feel like, okay, I now feel comfortable that these people know their stuff. Okay, let me talk to them. Or the third way is that they actually land up directly on the landing page, maybe because of a PPC ad, or directly landing through Google on the page. At that point of time, it's very important that they continue their due diligence and figure out whether this company has put up many more pages about this software, about this system, and they're talking about different aspects of it, about optimization, maybe some problems. Okay, that way they can figure out whether these are the right guys, because you can only talk about the problems if you've dealt with them. You can't solve any problem if you never know them, right? So these are the 3 sources that we see typically the people who end up working with the good guys come through, right? And that's much different than going to an Upwork or just a Fiverr or something like that, where you will get to work cheap, but you want the best work done by the right people, right?
And that's a huge risk that you take when you go with a freelancer or somebody, when you want to. Maybe you will end up paying less. Maybe you will get good stuff, but there's a chance, Ultimately, if you don't get what you want, you're losing money, but more importantly, you're losing time.
Yeah.
So time
I've
is
heard
very important. Yeah. So
I've heard this saying that you can get cheap, fast, or quality. Pick two, and some
That's true. That's true.
if something's cheap and fast, it's probably too good to be true. That's what I found out, and I see a lot of people learn that lesson the hard way. And I just want to, you said one of the ways people come into WisdmLabs, which we recommend at LifterLMS as a service provider, if you need help with your LifterLMS or your WooCommerce setup, is all the content you all have. You have an awesome blog. I really appreciate it. I don't know, it was a couple years ago, somebody on your team interviewed me for an article, and they really put a lot of work into it. It wasn't like a quick, let's just slap up a piece of content. You, like, when I saw that, to me, that built a lot of trust. I'm like, oh, they're really wanting to create high quality content here. Can you tell us more about how you do that?
Okay, so let's say for the interviews we run, okay, it's very important for us to actually understand the person we are interviewing. So we actually do a lot of due diligence on them. We figure out where they are posting, what they are talking about, what are their interests, what is their expertise, and then our content process involves brainstorming between our team, where they will actually go through the profile of the person, and then now they will sit and brainstorm for the questions that should ask. The reason we do this is because it's very important that you don't end up with just a post, you end up with knowledge that helps the readers. Okay, so if you ask a very directed question, okay, then and only then will it make you think, will it make you feel like, oh yeah, this is something I need to talk about. Okay, this is something that makes sense. If you already said, that you felt that those questions were thought of. Okay, the reason, because there was homework that was put in. Okay, and that's, see, we have really found questioning to be a very, very important technique. Okay, in all the things that we do. In fact, when we are talking to our clients or prospects, right, we have this habit of asking directed questions. The reason is that many times people come with an understanding of, oh, I have this requirement, okay, but they may not necessarily really know what they are really looking for. Okay, so their want and their need might be much different. Okay, when we ask a directed question, they are forced to think. When they are forced to think, they stop in their tracks, and then, oh, let me think. And then, oh, maybe it is not like that. Maybe it is like that. Oh, then, then it strikes them that maybe we could do this way. And then it's very easy for us to get in our suggestion. And that's really helped us. So questioning thoughtfully is the technique that we use.
there have been instances where they also get a little irritated. Why are you asking me so many questions? but but then that really helps us get to the root of the problems and solve them. So we have never changed our methods as such. That really helps.
I think that's really smart. Like, if you are going and you're looking for a service provider to help you with your WordPress LMS website or WooCommerce, whatever you're trying to do, if the person is not asking you a lot of questions and they're just saying, yep, we can do that, and like, here's where to pay, like, that's, to me, is a red flag. Because when you hire an agency, you want they need to be curious before they close the sale. If they're not curious and making sure that they understand what you are, what your goals are, where you're at in the process, what you've tried and didn't work, these are all important questions that any agency should be asking during the sales process. Would you agree?
Absolutely. In fact, you know what, we internally have this thing that we keep repeating, that prospects are like patients coming to a doctor. Okay, it's the doctor's job to figure out what is the real problem. Okay, and then suggest a solution. Should the doctor rush to give medications? No, it makes no sense really. Okay, they need to know exactly what the problem is and what's going to give them the quickest path to recovery or relief, whatever that is, right? Okay, so that way So because you know what, why this is important is because all of this is the game of trust. Okay, we are in the game of trust. Do anything that can take away trust, and your reputation is gone. All of the hard work that you put in is gone. At least for that particular interaction with that particular person, and obviously to all the persons or people that person can influence ever, right? We can't really lose that kind of business. So
Yeah. Trust
yeah,
is the currency of, I mean, relationships and working online, especially because if you're not, often you don't meet in person, and, you know, you have to be good at communicating because, it's because you're not in person, the communication even has to be even better if you're using email and like video calls and stuff like that. Trust is everything. What's a perfect fit client for Wisdom Labs? What are they up to? What's a great client type for you?
A great client would be someone who wants a partner, not an executor.
Yeah,
Okay.
tell me more.
Huh?
Tell me more about that. Partner versus executor.
Yeah. For example, there are people who come who wants executor like this is what I want. Give me a quote for that.
Hmm.
That is not the right client for us. This is the problem that I'm trying to solve. Do you
There
have
you
any
go.
suggestions? Okay, then we are ready to help. Okay, what exactly are you looking for? Why are you looking for this? What are you trying to achieve? Okay, do you have any specific requirements like no, I need to go with this, or are you flexible with the solutions? Because I think results are more important than what technology it is back. Okay, and when they start thinking with us, okay, and they become a part of our team when we create the approach for this system, because everything that we do must complement their needs. And once we do that, we don't have to like wait for their approval to go ahead, because we already know that they are in, and we need to go ahead and create this for them. Okay, and those are the clients who stay with us like for the long term. There have been clients with us for the past 4 years now. Okay, ever evolving. They are always open to suggestions. Sometimes when we say, oh, this doesn't really look good, or maybe there's a better alternative, they are like, they appreciate it. I mean, they're welcome. So that's the sort of clients that we like to have. And fortunately, we have like,
yeah,
many of them in our existing bunch.
I think that's really wise. The having a technology partner versus somebody who just does what you think you need is that's like night and day difference, because you all are the experts on the implementation. You also have the vision of like lots of other people who have been in similar situations, so you have all this experience. So a client should lean on that expertise, and maybe they don't know what they don't know. So when you partner with a technology partner and you trust them to help guide and lead you, that's where the best results come from. And like you're saying, especially like in this industry, in the WordPress LMS industry, if someone's making an online course, starting a coaching business, creating a training-based membership site, they need the website is the business. So
yes,
I would look at it, it's not like, all right, I'm just going to buy this thing and be done. This is going to be, you're going to need technological support for the life of your business. It's not, I think that's just the reality of it. And people realize that eventually, but they need
Yeah,
they need a technology partner.
they do. Like, if I have to give you an example, yesterday we had this case where a client came in. So he already has a Moodle LMS set up. Okay, and he wanted to integrate it with a WooCommerce, a WordPress based setup, because he wants to sell their courses via the WordPress website. And we were like, okay, why did you choose Moodle, by the way? Oh, Moodle is the default way to go for an LMS, is what he said. Because I don't know, maybe he would have got that information from Google. He would have gone to some agency, created a Moodle website. But then at the end, if he had this vision of selling courses right from the beginning, that company should have helped him set up the LMS on WordPress itself. So So we do have this advisor bridge software that does this job, but then we asked him, why did you choose Moodle? So why didn't you go ahead with a WordPress based LMS right from the beginning? Then you don't have to go through the hassle of maintaining two websites. And he said, oh, I never knew that was an option. Because if that was the case, why would I even have something on Moodle? Yeah. But then that's the thing, no? If he would have come to us, we could have sold that software and be done with it. But when we got to ask him so many questions, and he was like really impressed. He said, I'm currently talking to like 3 companies right now, and none of them have suggested me that I could have everything in one place. And that saves me so much hassle. I can manage it efficiently. So again, in those calls, we know, okay, this is it. Yeah. He is going to go ahead with us, and then he's also very happy. And then when clients express it explicitly, like, I'm so glad that I'm talking to you, that's when it's a feeling of accomplishment and fulfillment. So
that makes our day. Yes.
it does.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, and that's again the mark of a great technology partner is they'll often offer like, hey, can we simplify here? Can we achieve your goal with less moving parts, less dependencies? That's a really great point. And the reality is the internet and software tools, especially in the LMS and e-commerce industry, I talk to a lot of people that are just completely overwhelmed at the amount of research trying to make a choice for what they need.
Yeah.
Really, why not just lean on your technology partner to help you like figure that out? Because they have the experience and the industry track record, which is what I wanted to get into next with you all. One of the things I love about WisdmLabs is your track record, your history. We're recording this episode in the beginning of 2020. How long have you all been working with WooCommerce?
WooCommerce, it's right from the beginning.
so like, give us a year. What year?
We delved into LMS a little later, but then when it comes to WooCommerce, it was right from the beginning.
What year is this approximately?
2012.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And you've done service agency work for WooCommerce for a long time. What types of projects and what types of things, a user can install WooCommerce and, pick some plugins and add some stuff. But where do people start bringing you in? Like, what for WooCommerce? Like, what kind of, what's your sweet spot for people who are using WooCommerce?
Okay. So there are different. So basically, in this case, taking cue from the doctor example, we then become something like a super specialist. Okay. Yeah. So we are not a general physician. We are treated as super specialists. Okay. So generally, what happens is what we've seen is we come late into the life cycle of a client. Especially, we would see typical clients having understood that they want a CMS, have installed WordPress, figured out WooCommerce is the way to go. Okay, then have set up a few plugins, and at that point of time, they are struggling with something. Integration is not working here. Some things are not flowing. Payments are an issue. Okay, we have a significant amount of clientele working with subscriptions. Okay, one of the most sought after, what should I say, ways of doing business. Subscriptions, obviously, because that means you have your clients, customers tied in for a lifetime, right? So we see a lot of these clients coming from these high level requirements, and they enter. I wouldn't really say our funnel, but they get in touch with us at that point of time, and their journey with us starts then. And in most cases, it continues because now they have found the right partner whom they can rely on, and they can now focus on their business. See, that's the most important part, right? I mean, the ability to be able to focus on your business, not be bothered by everyday technology problems, is one of the primary goals that we are attempting to solve with our customers. Because that creates extreme value for them, and it will also end up creating value for us, because now we have the customer engaged with us for a lifetime. We can focus on their problems. Because we are working with customers in only a single domain or only one or two domains like e-learning and e-commerce, that's it, right? Okay, we are able to focus on the problems of the entire industry and then give them a holistic solution that will make their life not just easy, but take their business forward faster. Because like you just said, right? When they don't know what they don't know, there's no way that they're going to remedy it.
I love this idea of like a specialist for a doctor or physician. And WooCommerce, e-commerce, just like LMS, is a platform business. So the website is the business. If you go to a general WordPress designer or developer, that's very different from going to specialists who understand e-commerce and LMS, because there's just so much that goes. There's a lot of responsibility. The stakes are high. The subscriptions you mentioned, like I use WooCommerce subscriptions to sell LifterLMS. It is literally the backbone of our financial engine. So it needs to be set up perfectly. And if you're going to run a subscription recurring revenue business and you choose WooCommerce, and you need to do something else, like to customize the experience or the dashboard in some way, you want a strong technology partner to help you with that. What?
In fact,
Go ahead.
I'll tell you this, Chris. You might not be knowing this, but we are the only company who is recommended by WooCommerce subscriptions. So earlier that was Prosperous.
Yep.
So we had tied up with them, but then even now, whenever they come across some problem related to subscriptions, WooCommerce recommends us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And for those of you listening, if you are looking for a WordPress LMS, LifterLMS has its own e-commerce system, Stripe and PayPal and whatnot, but we also have an add-on to integrate it with WooCommerce, and you can use Woo subscriptions to get the recurring revenue going. And if you need help with your site, check out WisdmLabs, because they are at the intersection of WooCommerce, LMS, and a subscription business, recurring revenue business. So that kind of specialized knowledge is really, really cool. I wanted to ask you, when it comes to like transitioning, or I guess let's say supporting somebody over time, how do you recommend, like if somebody's going to choose any company or WisdmLabs as a technology partner, how often or how much work should we do at a time, or how do we think about a website project over time versus like a launch or a redo? Like, how do we think about it as more, let's prioritize? How do we do all that?
Okay. So the thing is, let's look at it from the way actually the business happens at the owner's end. Okay, most of the times you see e-commerce or e-learning professionals. Okay, let's say e-learning professionals are teachers, e-commerce professionals are sellers, right? What they know best is selling and teaching, right? So ideally, what should they focus on? Selling and teaching. That's it, right? So when you have a strong partner, okay, the partner should integrate with you to the level that you should now only be doing selling or teaching. Okay, so you figure out where you're going to get your products from, what are the products that your customers want, okay, provide them, sell them, okay, maybe market them. But why do you need to worry about technology? Okay, about product uploads, or for that matter, okay, which kind of software do I need to do this and this and that? Okay, essentially what people do, end up doing is that they would typically have one or two people actually working on their website. So these guys, they will call as administrators or admin guys. Okay, and these are the guys they have to manage their systems internally. Okay, essentially they end up spending significant amount of money. Okay, let's say if someone is in US, right? If they are asking someone to be involved with them to look at their admin operations, it still costs them a significant amount of money on a yearly basis, maybe upwards of $50,000. Okay, now where we are coming in is we are trying to see how we can integrate with our customers to the level that now they don't just have to think about their website. Okay, so we become their go-to destination, their Man Friday, so that they can be on their quest forever, right? So they just forget about technology. Oh, technology is taken care of by these guys, right? So I just have to sell or teach. Okay, I'll figure out what's my next course is going to be about. Okay, and it will all be set up and done. All the elements of, maybe it's graphic design, maybe it's just data, maybe it's a lot of programming, some tweaking, okay, or some sort of integration with a third party system. All of that they don't have to worry. All they do is just discuss this with us and done. So in that case, okay, a retainer kind of a relationship is always beneficial, because not just do we know what they're trying to do, okay, because we've been knowing them for so long, we know exactly what they need to scale up their business.
Yeah, that's awesome. When you were talking, I was thinking about like a race car driver. If your business is like, this race car thing, the business owner should be driving the car, but they have a team that helps like keep everything optimized and improve performance and stuff. So you can't drive the race car and be the mechanic and the support team and expect to win.
Exactly.
That's a very good analogy,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And you know what,
Go ahead.
the most important part is that it saves them a lot of effort, time. Okay, time is money, right? I mean, if let's say they're spending like 10 days in a month looking at these sundry things, which you call as very important for living life because you have to do business through your website, then 10 days saved is like 10 days earned.
Yeah, that's a great point. I want to switch gears and talk about or just have some fun. Just because we're WordPress people here, when is like, for example, WooCommerce a better fit than Shopify for somebody who's like kind of on the fence? What would you say? I mean, Shopify is good for some people. WooCommerce is a better option for others. What makes somebody a better fit for WooCommerce?
That would be somebody who wants to take control of their environment, who wants a sense of ownership for everything that they have, be it the technology stack or where it's hosted. It's Shopify is a great software. In fact, it's growing like crazy right now. But then still, it has to do with one's mind. Yeah. It's on a third party infrastructure altogether. I want entire ownership of my business. That is one of the major reasons for somebody to choose WordPress, by the way, because if at all, even in LMS, there are so many other hosted LMS softwares available. They can pay like maybe $90 a month, or say $10 a month, and they'll be able to sell courses. Those are there, but then they want to take control and ownership of the entire environment, and they want the ability to tweak the software as and how they want. Because when you go to a hosted provider, basically you have to be happy with what they have to provide. You're limited with flexibility options, but that's not the case when it comes to WordPress or any open source based providers. There have been cases like we have also lost some clients because we felt maybe that's a better fit. We don't do Shopify, but then Shopify would be a better fit for you. So last we were discussing, we ask a lot of questions. So there have also been cases where at the end of the discussion, the customer knows, oh, this is not really a problem. Maybe I have some other problem, and maybe you're not the right guys to solve it. So really thankfully opened our eyes, because otherwise I would have spent a lot of time and money on solving a problem that didn't really exist. So we lose business there, but then that's okay, because the trust we have gained there is like tremendous. And next time he has anything to ask about technology or in general stuff, we are the right people, they contact us. So that's how we have clients with whom we have been dealing with for the past 4 to 5 years, and it's amazing.
Yeah, that's another mark of a good agency, is they will literally refer you away from them if it's the right solution. I mean, sometimes I refer people to Teachable or Kajabi or Thinkific because WordPress and Lifter or whatever is not really the best fit for this person, because whatever, they need simple, they need fast, or whatever. But that's what you want. You want a trusted advisor, not just an executor or implementer. I think that's such a powerful thing. You guys are getting into the mobile app space. What's that like? Like, tell us more about your mobile app clients.
So currently, we experimented with it. There's a truth. We wouldn't say that we are like totally successful with it up till now, but then we are developing and we are improving on our technology stack and whatever issues that we have with our apps. So we don't take custom mobile applications as of now.
Okay.
We have our own LearnDash mobile app on which we are improving. So once that's stable enough, we would be looking at taking up other e-learning application projects, because we don't want to restrict ourselves to just software-based mobile app.
But we've seen a significant amount of interest.
There's a huge demand.
Yeah.
In the e-learning industry, especially. The reason is because it's exactly the opposite when it comes to e-commerce. Okay, and there is a good reason. Okay, when it comes to WooCommerce, okay, nobody wants to actually have a site and an app. Right. The reason being that most of these relationships are transactional, right? But they are much more ingrained and much more engaged in terms of an e-learning application, right? So what happens is students sign up to a course and they stick with the course for more time, and that's the reason why they would want to have a simpler, more accessible system, and that's where the mobile app comes in, right? So e-learning as an industry is extremely well poised to derive the maximum benefit from having their own mobile apps developed, and we actually see a lot of people coming to us asking about our apps, and as we firm up our technology stack, okay, it's just a matter of time that we are tapping into a very, very big industry and opportunity, so to say, okay, because so our idea is to be able to come up with an offering that is really, really cost effective. Because what happens is most of these guys, especially using WordPress, right, they don't come with boatloads of budget. Okay, they want to have something, they want to have this functionality, they want to give this value to their students, but they won't be able to afford a $10,000 setup, right? And they want something much cheaper, and that's the opportunity that we are trying to provide for. And we are seeing some really good traction, and but mobile is not a simple problem to solve, and it is especially more difficult because of a no-code environment like WordPress. Okay, what happens is, I'll tell you. So the real problem comes because of the advancements in WordPress, especially like page builders. Okay, so you have page builders giving tremendous functionality, tremendous amount of visual control. Okay, that is there available on the website. But the moment you actually wrap that in a mobile app, okay, all of that, what should I say, HTML jugglery, you are not able to port on the mobile. Okay, so people are then at that point of time they get a shock. Oh, so do you mean that this thing is not going to come on my mobile app? Oh, but I spent hours doing this. I did this in Elementor, or maybe I used Gutenberg or Beaver Window or whatever that is. Okay, oh no, but I need that there as well. Okay, so now there is a so it's really a research kind of thing in progress. Okay, we could get them going with a simple app like PWA, that is a progressive web app, but then you have iPhone problems because iPhone doesn't really support it, and it's not very, very easy for people to actually get over the problems of the PWA. Or if you go native or hybrid, then there are these formatting problems. Okay, so there is a learning curve and acceptance curve that is required on the part of the user. So that's where we see some friction. Okay, especially and it is not because of problems at our end, but it is just the technology hasn't really evolved on the mobile side as it has on the website.
So earlier, when we were thinking of, when we had this plan, we were going to launch it as an offering, but then now we realize that every project, every opportunity that comes our way is a services project with different needs. Especially when the softwares, they interact with so many other plugins, they need support with those plugins also. So currently, that's the situation. We have like stopped accepting new projects right now because we need to service our existing clients. So the opportunity is huge, But at the same time, there are various challenges associated.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's fun to talk about that because I've kind of seen that is like the opportunity as well, but it's like really challenging and there's a lot of friction. And you've helped clarify my thinking. I never really compared it to e-commerce, where people just want to get in and get out, versus learning is like it's a totally different animal, and they're
Like
going to get in and they're
teachers,
going to stay in.
Yes.
So it's different.
teachers like offline learning and all, it helps a
Yeah.
lot. You need to always be connected with the internet and stuff.
And even without a mobile app, I mean, like a WordPress LMS website is a web app. So sometimes I find myself educating people. Yes, you are going to need connection to the internet, like, but even cellular connection is, that is becoming more and more widespread. And if you want to get into people being able to do stuff offline, you can add downloads and other materials that they can, take with when they travel or listen to while they're doing something else off the internet or whatever. Can you tell us a little bit about the origin story of WisdmLabs? How did this company start, and when was this?
Okay, so this company started because I was working in an agency, which was a digital marketing agency, and they were being bought over by a French company. That's like I think it's the second largest uh, advertising giant in the world. That's Publicis. And when they were being bought over by Publicis, I realized that my time has come to go and explore the things that I've always wanted to explore. The really real reason for this is because I always had ideas, and but they were always kind of shot down because it was someone else's business. They had other priorities, and I can completely understand that. But I felt like what will happen, max. The idea will fail, so it will be a mistake. Okay, but I don't really want to have that regret at the end of my life. Okay, that I didn't really go and try out that idea. Okay, and then I would then be actually cursing my fate. Oh well, you know what, I did not do this. And there were so many things that I always wanted to do. Okay, for example, I had this thought that software scales like crazy. Okay, so I wanted to be in software, and I wanted to help small businesses, because I have always seen people talking about enterprise software, as if that no other kind of business exists in the world, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like wondering, but what about the other people? Like a vast majority of people are not working in enterprises, right?
Yeah.
So are they like what? They're not living? Are they not enjoying their lives? Are they not using some tools? So what about them? I'm sure there must be something much simpler than an enterprise, and that's where I stumbled across WordPress, and I
Yeah.
realized that well, this seems to be that opportunity. And WordPress was not that super popular that it is right now, but it was it was really competing well against Drupal and Joomla at that point of time. And I said, well, this looks like a simple system. Okay, why not explore it and see if we can do something over here? And because I was from a digital marketing services background, services came natural to me. So at that point of time, I decided, well, let's get started with services. Obviously, the journey started with freelancing platforms, but quickly graduated to our own website, because we realized that this is not going to work. Okay, it's going to be much more crowded on the freelancing platforms there, and you can't really create any differentiator or tell the customers your value. So we put up our website and we invested a lot in content marketing, and that's how we've been able to carry forward the journey till this day.
What year did WisdmLabs open its doors or get its first client? Do you remember?
2012. That's
Awesome.
that's when we started.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Rohan and Shrajit from WisdmLabs, you all, I can see another reason why I get along with you guys is that focusing on small business, or what I call the VSB, very small business. I know what you mean, where like sometimes you hear business people talking about the advice, move up market. So
Yeah.
go to the enterprise as if it's the only thing that exists. I've never heard somebody say that, but I smiled real big when you said that, because there's a lot of other people in the world. In fact, most companies are not enterprise or Fortune 500 or Fortune 1000 or whatever. There's a lot. I mean, small business is the economic engine of the world. Not that big business isn't important, but there's a lot of smaller businesses out there as well. What's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you at Wisdom Labs?
Oh, well, just go to our website or tweet us or follow us on any of our social channels. But yes, you know what, you will get the most when you go to our website, because that's when you will actually get convinced that, well, if I have the right requirement, then these could be the right people. So, yes.
That's awesome. If you're looking for a technology partner, go to wisdmlabs.com. That's WISDM labs.com. Rohan and Shrajith, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for inviting us.
And that's a wrap for this episode of LMScast. I'm your guide, Chris Badgett. I hope you enjoyed the show. This show was brought to you by LifterLMS, the #1 tool for creating, selling, and protecting engaging online courses to help you get more revenue, freedom, and impact in your life. Head on over to LifterLMS.com and get the best gear for your course creator journey. Let's build the most engaging, results-getting courses on the internet.